Today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2015, and today's rant will be called The Pied Piper of Trumplin. And by that I mean Donald Trump is running around like he's got a little trumpet going on the whole time, and people are just following him all over the place. And it's just like the Pied Piper of Hamelin. They're following him, and he's taking them off a cliff. And the question is, how many cliffs are they going to go off of before they realize that they've just screwed themselves completely out of the election of 2016? So the big thing has been immigration reform, and Trump did come out with his immigration, let's just say, policy, which is basically deport anyone who is an American citizen if their parent is not an American citizen, and none of this border baby stuff. They called for the repeal of the 14th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment basically indicates that if you are born here, then you are an American citizen. This was 14th Amendment came out of the Civil War, so that all black people at the time would be considered American citizens. And of course, there was a lot of fighting going on because we had a minor Chinese population, or let's just call it East Asian population, in California at that time. And there were fights about that. And yes, they decided, yes, if they are born in the United States, even if they're of East Asian descent, they are American citizens. That was what was decided back in the late 1860s. But everyone's jumping on that bandwagon. Now, the thing is that Trump has taken everyone so far to the right. Is it possible for whoever the nominee will be, even if it is Trump, to go back to the center? Because no one wants to see this spectacle go about. Now, something about this is that Trump is basically advocating what all the Republicans really want. They just don't want to say it the way he's saying it. They don't want to be as explicit. They want to be more discreet. They want to talk about, other things. They want to talk about securing the borders, but they don't talk about building a fence like Trump does. Building a bigger wall. Now, this whole thing of immigration, where's it going to hurt them the most? It's going to hurt them with the Latino community. And the Latino community is continuing to play a larger and larger role in the American electorate. And this election in 2016, there will be more Latinos voting as a number and as a percentage than ever before. And basically, it appears to me as if by Donald's antics, the Pied Piper of Trumplin, by his antics, everyone has followed him to that particular point. And what we're also seeing now is that these other guys, these serious people have got to get traction. They got to get it now, or they're out if they don't get something out of New Hampshire, out of South Carolina, or out of Iowa. So that means Walker and Marco Rubio have basically doubled down on the abortion thing, indicating very clearly that it didn't make any difference if it was rape, if it was incest, or that there was a possibility that a mother could die, that you could have an abortion. Now, I do have experience with this. I knew a lady. She died a couple years ago. She had kidney cancer, and the cancer was found before she gave birth. And she held off on the treatments till afterwards, and she ended up dying before that baby was about 1 year old. That's quite a sacrifice. I'm not saying that everyone should make that sacrifice. That's a sacrifice that she made, and I do applaud her for it. At the same time, there are maybe other conditions where both of them would die if there isn't an abortion. These guys are way out on a limb, and they're following the Trump motto. You got to go further and further to the right. So now, this is going to extend. We got two things here. We got the immigration comprehensive immigration reform, and we have the Planned Parenthood abortion aspect of it. The social issues that the corporate Republicans do not want to get involved into. And now we're being involved into it right in the center, and it's taken them over the cliff. It's taken them right into the river. They're going to drown. And this Planned Parenthood thing could also shut the government down come September. Now, Trump hasn't said a whole lot about climate change, but his past statements have clearly indicated he's not in for climate change. So there's three major things what I thought, and there's a couple more, and that was comprehensive. These are the things that I do not think that a Republican can get elected in 2016 if they're against. They're against comprehensive immigration reform. Check that for the Republicans. They're against Planned Parenthood, the abortion issue. Check that for the Republicans. That was going to hurt them. They're against climate change. That's number 3. They're against gay marriage. That's number 4. They're against raising the minimum wage. That's number 5. They're against increasing taxes on the wealthy. That's number 6. So those are 6 things that are very, very crucial to them having an opportunity to win in 2016. And it doesn't appear as if they're going that way. Like I said, Trump, when it comes to immigration, farther and farther to the right. It hasn't said much on the Planned Parenthood abortion thing, even though he indicated he does love women and we need to have Planned Parenthood. His buddies are going to take over because come September, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, who's also in the Senate, Rand Paul and Lindsey Graham, they're gonna try and shut the government down because they got to get their chops and they got to get it before the Iowa caucuses, and this is how they're going to get it. So that's taking them further to the right. Climate change, they're going to be going further to the right because they're going to be accepting a lot of money from the Koch brothers and from a lot of other organizations that invest heavily in oil. So that's three big blemishes that they got going against them. And of course, the gay marriage could be a big issue. So there's a lot going on, and it's going on right now because Walker has doubled down, Rubio has doubled down, and even though, most of the population isn't even paying attention to all this. They're just paying attention to Trump and what he's sort of saying, and they're sort of liking it and stuff. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, when you got to pull that lever, Trump will be considered such a clown. Incredible showman, great marketing. He knows how to talk. He put out a policy on comprehensive immigration reform, which would never pass. Even most Republicans wouldn't go for all of that kind of stuff. He's absolutely excluding the Latino vote to vote for any type of Republican, because if any Republican has coattails, all the senators and Congress people and all the people in the state houses are going to be the same way as the candidate. And if they're against that comprehensive immigration reform, they could lose big. We'll see what happens.